Cashflow, what it really takes to make money in the real world. No fluff, no manifestation tricks. Created and written by Mindell. Grounded guidance for those ready to break patterns and build true wealth. Introduction. The lie that keeps you broke. You've been lied to. They said all you need is positive vibes, the right crystals, or the perfect affirmation. They said, if you just believe hard enough, the universe will deliver. And maybe that sells books. Maybe it gets clicks. But let's be real. Belief without work is fantasy. And you don't want fantasy. You want freedom. This audiobook is not about surface-level get-rich advice. This is about real money, how it works, why it flows, and who it stays with. This is about rewiring your relationship to value, effort, energy, and identity. If you're tired of floating in self-help circles that keep you broke, welcome. You're about to learn what actually moves the needle. No fluff, no hype, just the truth. Let's begin. Chapter 1. You don't need motivation. You need identity shift. Motivation comes and goes. Identity stays. If you rely on motivation to create momentum, you'll live your life waiting for the perfect energy to arrive before taking the first step. But identity is stable. It's automatic. It's the internal compass that silently shapes every action you take, whether you're aware of it or not. You don't rise by getting pumped up. You rise by becoming someone who doesn't need hype to take action. Think about the person who wakes up at 5 a.m. to build their business. Not because they feel like it, but because it's simply who they are now. Their identity leads, not their mood. Ask yourself, who do you think you are? And then ask, who do you act like you are? Because every money habit, business decision, and risk you take flows from that internal script. If you subconsciously believe you're someone who always struggles, who can't follow through, who isn't capable of holding wealth, you will make choices to reinforce that belief, even if consciously you want change. This is why positive thinking alone doesn't work. The subconscious always wins. You must become the person who expects wealth, who respects their time, who moves with clarity, even before the money shows up. Rewriting your money story begins with rewriting your self-concept. It's not just about saying affirmations. It's about living as if those affirmations are already true. Affirmation. I am someone who creates, multiplies, and manages wealth with clarity. That doesn't just mean saying it in the mirror. It means backing it up with action. Speak like someone who owns their worth. That means no more self-deprecating jokes. No more apologizing for having ambition. No more downplaying your gifts. Act like someone who respects their time. That means protecting your calendar like a sacred temple. Saying no to distractions, replacing scrolling with skill building, replacing avoidance with intentional execution. Decide like someone who expects returns. That means taking calculated risks, investing in growth, choosing discomfort now for expansion later, delaying gratification for long-term gain. True wealth doesn't come from grinding harder. It comes from alignment. When your actions, habits, and decisions are consistent with the version of you who already holds abundance. You don't fake it until you make it. You embody it until you believe it. Your job is to update the blueprint of your identity so that wealth is not just something you want. It's something you naturally attract, sustain, and expand. Wealth starts in the mirror, not just with what you see, but with who you choose to be every single day. Chapter 2. the real reason you stay broke. Let's get honest. You check your phone 90 times before lunch. You binge content about success instead of building it. You chase dopamine instead of discipline. You sabotage progress the moment things get uncomfortable. And then wonder why nothing changes. Sound harsh? Good. Because wealth does not tolerate passivity. Most people stay broke not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack emotional endurance. They want the outcome, but not the identity shift. They want the wealth, but not the inner transformation. They want the rewards, but without the rewiring. They are in love with potential, the fantasy version of themselves that always starts tomorrow. But they're allergic to responsibility, the present tense discipline that builds wealth one unglamorous day at a time. Here's the truth. You will never out-earn your emotional state. If you live in reactivity, chaos, and escapism, your income will reflect it. Wealth doesn't just require hard work. It requires internal regulation. It requires focus. The ability to stay with one thing long enough to see results. Strategy, not just effort, but intentional direction. Repetition, doing the same valuable thing over and over again. Emotional stability. Because panic spending, quitting too early, and chasing shiny objects all bleed wealth. This isn't sexy. It's not flashy. It won't trend on TikTok. But it's liberating. Because once you realize the reason you're stuck isn't some hidden secret, it's the choices you're making daily. You reclaim your power. You can't affirm your way out of disorganization. You can't journal your way out of avoidance. You can't script your way past procrastination. At some point, you have to trade convenience for commitment. You have to stop negotiating with mediocrity. You have to do the unsexy work. Creating systems, turning your phone off, showing up consistently, saying no to what drains you. Freedom is not found in how you feel. It's found in what you follow through on. So you have to decide, do I want to feel good now or feel free forever? Only one of those choices builds wealth. The other keeps you stuck in the same cycle with a better wardrobe and louder affirmations. Your future isn't waiting on luck. It's waiting on discipline. Chapter 3. Skill greater than passion. Every time. Forget follow your passion. That's a romantic idea sold by people who made money in ways they won't teach you. Passion is often the byproduct of mastery, not the starting point. Follow what solves problems. Follow what pays. Follow what helps people. People don't get rich because they love their job. They get rich because they get so good at something useful that the market pays them over and over again. Passion is optional. Skill is essential. Your job isn't to find the perfect thing that lights your soul on fire. Your job is to find something that the market values and become dangerous at it. Ask any successful person how they built wealth. You'll hear, I became irreplaceable. I solved hard problems. I delivered results. Here's what skill actually looks like. Learn how to write copy, because words move money. Learn how to build websites, because digital real estate is the new frontier. Learn how to sell ideas, because attention is currency. Learn how to lead, close, and execute, because most people freeze or fumble under pressure. You don't need to be born with it. You need to decide to build it. Every skill compounds. Writing makes you a better speaker. Selling makes you a better communicator. Strategy makes you a better leader. Passion can grow. Skill is what pays. And here's the thing most people overlook. Skills are transferable. Once you learn to market, you can apply that to anything. Your business, someone else's, a product, a brand. Once you learn to lead, you can manage people, projects, investments, or your own time. These are foundation-level abilities that unlock exponential opportunity. While others waste months searching for the perfect purpose, you could be stacking a skill set that earns you leverage. Your goal isn't just to learn. It's to get so good they can't ignore you. Because when you become irreplaceable, you become unstoppable. Every hour you spend learning a valuable skill is an hour invested in freedom. Not just financial, but emotional, creative, and time freedom. Build skills. Stack leverage. Buy your future with effort today. Chapter 4. Dopamine detox equals financial clarity. If you want to make more money, manage your focus. Focus is the new currency, and it's being stolen from you every time you scroll, swipe, or chase meaningless novelty. Modern platforms are designed to addict your brain. The algorithm doesn't care about your future. It cares about your attention. And every time you choose comfort over creation, consumption over contribution, you delay your financial evolution. Your brain is wired for stimulation. That's not your fault. But if you want wealth, you have to rewire it for satisfaction from progress, not from passive dopamine hits. Let's break it down. Every time you check your phone compulsively, you're telling your brain that distraction is more rewarding than deep work. Every time you binge watch instead of building, you reinforce avoidance. Every time you celebrate a like over a closed deal, you're anchoring your worth to validation instead of value. High earners aren't just skilled. They're focused. They've trained themselves to love boredom, to stay in the task, to feel good from small wins, consistency, and the peace of knowing they're building something real. If you want to be that person, you need a dopamine detox. Start here. No phone for the first hour of your day. Block distracting apps for 4-hour focus blocks. Replace low-value content with high-leverage learning. Celebrate effort, not outcome. Train your brain to crave progress, not stimulation. Get addicted to completion. Get high off execution. You'll realize something powerful. 1 deep hour of focused effort is more valuable than 10 distracted hours of busy work. 1 email sent, 1 pitch delivered, 1 chapter written is more valuable than 1,000 pieces of inspiration you saved but never used. Discipline becomes magnetic when your brain is rewired to love creation. Want clarity? Want wealth? Want peace? Take your brain back. This one shift will separate you from 95% of people who are busy, but broke. Because when the rest of the world is hooked on dopamine, you'll be building a future while they're feeding a feed. High earners have clear focus blocks. Low earners have distractions. Start your day with output, not input. Chapter 5. Build or be replaced. In the age of AI and automation, the rules of wealth have changed. You're either building something scalable, or you're being commoditized by someone who is. The middle is vanishing. If your income depends on being physically present 40+ hours a week, if you're trading time for money with no leverage, you're at risk. Not because you're not skilled, but because you're not scalable. Wealthy people don't just work harder, They build systems, a product that sells while they sleep, a brand that grows without them micromanaging, a team that executes the mission, a service that runs on automation and trust. Poor people build to-do lists. Wealthy people build assets. An asset is anything that creates income without needing you 24/7. A digital product, a course, a licensing deal, a community or platform, a business system with delegation. And no, it doesn't have to be fancy or viral. It just has to be real, useful, and yours. Start with one idea, one product, one simple offer. The key is to stop only consuming other people's work and start contributing your own. What do you know that others need? What can you package, teach, or share? What problem can you solve better or faster? And most importantly, how can you build a system that solves it without you having to show up every time? Stop overthinking. Start building. Set a 30-day goal to create a simple product. Use free tools if needed. Canva, Gumroad, Google Docs. Deliver it. Get feedback. Improve it. Then repeat. Don't confuse perfection with value. Some of the highest paid people online started with messy ebooks, awkward YouTube videos, or 0 followers. What they had was consistency, not credentials. Become the creator. In a world full of reactors and scrollers, be the one who builds. Because in the next economy, you won't be paid for what you know. You'll be paid for what you've built that others can't ignore. Chapter 6. If you don't track it, you don't respect it. Money loves attention, not obsession, but clarity. It wants to be led, directed, accounted for. If you treat money like an afterthought, it will treat you the same. Most people don't have a money problem. They have an awareness problem. You can't improve what you're afraid to look at. And yet, so many people avoid their bank account like it's a monster under the bed. But what you avoid owns you. Clarity is power. Avoidance is expensive. Look at your bank account. Track your income. Audit your subscriptions. Know what comes in and what goes out. Because when you stop avoiding your finances, they stop avoiding you. When you look at the numbers, even if they're messy, you begin to take ownership. You step into the identity of someone who leads their money, not someone who's reacting to it. Money doesn't care how much you earn. It cares what you do with it. You could make $10,000 a month and still be broke if you're leaking energy, time, and cash through poor awareness. You need a system, a ritual, a regular rhythm where money is not emotional. It's just data, feedback, insight. Here's a weekly ritual to build into your calendar. Monday morning or Sunday night. 15-minute money check-in. Open your banking app. Breathe. Don't judge. Review every transaction. Where is your money going? Ask, what did I do this week that generated income? Ask, what wasted my time or energy with no return? Choose one win to repeat and one leak to seal. This simple process trains your nervous system to stay regulated around money. No more panic, no more pretending, just power. Also, create a dashboard. Use a spreadsheet or a simple app. Name your accounts, know your numbers, see your patterns. This is what wealthy people do. They know their income sources. They know what's recurring and what's variable. They manage from facts, not feelings. Every time you check your numbers with clarity, you're reinforcing that you are capable of managing wealth. and that invites more of it. Because money doesn't flow to chaos, it flows to order, intention, and leadership. Track, measure, adjust, then watch it grow. Chapter 7. Discipline is the ultimate wealth hack. You want freedom? Earn it through structure. Discipline isn't just waking up early or checking off a to-do list. It's the invisible force that shapes your future. It's doing what matters most, especially when it's the last thing you feel like doing. Discipline is showing up when nobody claps, finishing when nobody cares, delivering value whether you're inspired or not. Let's be clear. You don't need more ideas. You need more execution. You don't need perfect routines. You need unbreakable standards. You don't need to wait for motivation. You need to decide in advance how you will act. Discipline removes emotion from decision-making. It replaces, "How do I feel right now?" with, "What did I commit to?" The greatest wealth builders don't always have more talent. They simply have more reps. They show up again and again until the world has no choice but to reward them. Here's what discipline looks like in practice. Blocking 90 minutes daily for deep work, even if you're tired. Turning off your phone for hours at a time because your focus is sacred. Launching before you're ready. Selling before you're confident. Repeating what works. Discipline is a signal to the universe that you're serious. It says, "I can be trusted with more." Because if you can't stay consistent with $500 a month, you won't with $50,000 a month. Affirmation: I do not negotiate with laziness. That voice in your head that says, "Maybe later?" Kill it with consistency. You don't rise by feeling like it. You rise by following through anyway. The most financially free people are the most internally disciplined. Want wealth? Build the muscle of discipline like your future depends on it. Because it does. Chapter 8. Money flows to certainty. Confidence sells. Clarity closes. If you hesitate, the opportunity is gone. Want more income? Get more certain about your value, about your offer, about your delivery. No one pays premium prices to someone who sounds unsure. Train certainty. Practice speaking your offer out loud daily. Write your pitch until it's smooth. Invest in yourself until your belief is unshakable. Money follows the energy of, "I got this." Chapter 9. Your circle is costing you money. You're being programmed every day by the content you consume and the people you allow near you. If your group laughs at ambition, mocks discipline, or normalizes debt, run. Normalize conversations like revenue goals, business systems, asset growth, emotional mastery. Change your circle. Change your income. Chapter 10. The long game always wins. Stop trying to get rich in 3 months. Instead, build a 3-year skill plan. Build a 5-year asset strategy. Build a daily system that scales. Compounding is boring. That's why most people never stick around long enough to win. But that's your edge. Every day you stay in the game, your advantage grows. Play the long game. Stack wins slowly. And one day, everything shifts. Final words. It's yours to build. You don't need to be a genius. You need to be relentlessly intentional. This is how money is really made. Identity, skill, Focus, systems, repetition, environment, time. You don't need hype. You need habits. You don't need more followers. You need more follow-through. You don't need to manifest wealth. You need to become the person who holds it. And you can. Let this audiobook be your reset, your recalibration, your reminder. You're not too late. You are not behind. You're right on time to build something real. Mondell.